Hi, welcome to Item Tracking in Dynamics NAV. The setup of item tracking is important because it will define how we will have to track serial and lot numbers. Let's look at some of the features of item tracking. When it comes to full traceability of items in the supply chain, you want to be able to trace when items are received, where they are placed, when they expire, which customer bought it, and when. Later on, we will see that in the process of setting up, we will have to define item tracking codes, set up a number series that we can use to assign serial and lot numbers and item setup. We can also use warranties and expiration dates. Warranties are especially useful for items such as electronic equipment like computers, while expiration dates are typically used for food and medicine. Now let's look at the concept of item tracking. For example, we have a purchase order with a quantity of 3. If you're assigning serial numbers, each piece will become a unique piece based on its serial number. So instead of having one item ledger entry with a quantity of 3, when you use serial numbers, you will then have 3 item ledger entries and value entries with a quantity of 1 and with their specific serial number. The same goes for lot numbers. For example, if I have a purchase order where I have a quantity of 1,000, and if I use a lot number, I could have the following situations. Suppose that we have purchased or vendor delivered from 2 lots. Then I could have a lot with 800 pieces, liter, kilogram, or pound, etc. So in this example, quantity 800 will go to lot number 1, quantity 200 with lot number 2. So this will then result in the following item ledger entries as you can see here. So now let's look at how we can set up and create item tracking codes. First, I'll go into the search function, and then I'll search for item tracking codes. Here we can see the existing item tracking codes that have been set up. So for example, let's look at the serial number specific tracking. Here we can see in the item tracking card that we have a number of fast tabs such as serial number, lot number, and miscellaneous. In the serial number fast tab, you can specify item tracking codes to specify which inbound and outbound transaction we want to track, in this case with serial numbers. One important thing to note is we have specific tracking. Specific tracking means that if you have an outbound transaction, you should assign a serial number of an inbound transaction that is still on stock. This can be done for serial numbers and also for lot numbers. By selecting specific tracking, you will see that the system will automatically assign all these fields you see here. There are only a couple of fields that remain optional, like the serial number info must exist for inbound, outbound, and warehouse tracking. So then if I go to the other fast tabs, lot number is left blank in this case because this is in the code that we only want to use for serial number tracking. The option of selecting serial number sales tracking means that if the company is selling an item to a customer before shipping, they would want to assign their own serial number. Note that you can make combinations of item tracking codes as you can see here. Once that we have our item tracking codes ready, we can start assigning them on the item cards. So now I'll go into my list of items. And then I'll search for item number 80102T. Now if I scroll down and go to the item tracking fast tab, I can see that this item has a serial number all item tracking codes. This means that we should use a specific serial number tracking. We can also assign a number series for serial numbers and lot numbers. You can also enter an expiration date calculation. Users should manually enter expiration dates, but you can also have the system calculate an expiration date based on the date formula. So when all of these are set up, we are now ready to start using item tracking, serial, and lot numbers. And that's how we can set up item tracking in Dynamics NAV. Thanks for watching.